There we go. There we
I'll be
go. Hey,
back. All right.
how you doing?
Was that me? I didn't know that was me or what.
No, I have no idea. It was so weird. It just dropped off, and then I couldn't get back on. And I'm like, but everybody on the internet right now, right? Everybody's on social, so maybe it's just too much going on. But
But we're here.
it's right. That's right. It's good to see you, man. How's
Good
everything
to
going?
see you too, man. Life is interesting, but life
Yeah.
is good.
Yes.
Life is good.
It's good. It's good. So a lot of people that are connected with me know who you are, but not everybody does. So you mind kind of letting everybody know a little bit about you?
I always hate this part because I don't know where to start because my life is like a book and I have like a gazillion chapters. And
Mm.
so, but anyway, I am a singer, songwriter, gospel music, particularly. Been brought up in church all my life. I met you through a ministry I've been connected to over 15 years now. Word of Faith International. I was at Word of Faith in Jackson, and then kind of transferred to Word of Faith Atlanta right when you left.
Right, right. Like, wait a minute, you could have did this a couple years
Right.
ago.
But I've been doing music. I'm an actor as well. I recently won BT Sunday Best All Star, so that was a fun deal. So yeah, that's me. I'm a father of two kids, Noah and Ian, and I'm a lover of people.
Yeah, I'm excited about what God's been doing with you, and of course, we've got you on as a part of our cast for the movie that's coming
Yes,
out as we're thanking God as we go through that process, and excited about that. And
super excited
uh,
about it.
but you've been doing a lot. It's like I look up and it seems like, oh, they're Dathan again.
No, and it's funny. Let me tell you about me. Like half the stuff, I don't know what I'm getting into. I just kind of, and I don't want to sound deep, but I just follow God. Um, but like sometimes I'm just like, hey, David, we got this thing coming. Could you show up? And I don't even know what it is. All right, I'll put on the clothes and I'll show up. Then I realize, oh, this was pretty big. That's how my life is, basically.
Yeah, yeah. You
So
were,
I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff, but it's
yeah.
God's been good to me, and I'm just being faithful to what I know to be true to me and what I do. I don't want to be anybody else. I can only be the best version of me, and that seems to be working out.
Hmm. So you were in some of Tyler's plays too, right? I remember you did.
Yeah, Medea's Neighbors from Hell. So let me tell you how that happened. I was fresh at Faith Christian Center in Atlanta, and I don't know if you know, but one of his assistant stage directors at the time was a member of the church.
Mm.
And so they kind of did this casting all over the country regularly through people's agents, and it didn't work out. The talent was horrible. So he decided, let me go to churches. He knows talent in church. So he went to churches. One of the first churches they reached out to was our church, in Atlanta. Well, the pastor at the time was like, hey, won't you, send in an audition, get some people on your team to do it, and see what happens. Long story short, I got the audition. And I got a call back, and the call back was to audition in front of Tyler Perry. Now, life was prepared me for moments like that. I've learned through auditions as kids and talent shows as kids and things my parents put me in front of to give your very best in moments like that. So you got Tyler Perry in front of you. I sang for blood, and it worked. I got the part. As a matter of fact, the same song I auditioned for your production is the one I did for their production as well.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if it works, I may as well,
Might as
if it
well do
broke,
it again, right? Yeah,
no.
yeah. So, so you've been on this journey, kind of chasing your dream, for a while. You got any thoughts to share with anybody that's connecting with us that maybe is in that same journey? As well as I knew there are moments where, you're on the mountaintop, and there are moments where it looks like it's never going to happen.
No, absolutely. I like to call it, I like roller coasters. Me and my kids like roller coasters. And that's kind of how this journey is. There are peaks and the valleys, you go up and down. But the end is thrilling, but sometimes you just don't know where you are in the ride. And for me, it's been just that. Like, I've had all kinds of promises and deals from when I was super younger and was singing with groups. And I mean, at the table, signing contracts that didn't go through, was promised things on live television that didn't go through. So life is full of ups and downs. But one thing I love about my relationship with God is that no matter what anybody else promises me, I'm standing on the promises that God has given me. And that's important to me because, I mean, if I'm in a room of 100 people, and 100 people saying you're great or you're this, and God is saying you got some stuff to deal with, that's
Hmm.
who we should be listening to. And
Right.
sometimes we get caught up in the ears of who's around us, for that, and also for our journey and for our success. And I have to be careful with that. Now, don't get me wrong. I like to hear people like you tell me you did a great job.
Hmm.
Because if I look up to you and you tell me I did a great job, then that means something to me. But at the end of the day, my my future is in God's hands.
Hmm.
And I have to remember that, because a
Hmm.
lot of times, somebody will say, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do this, it's going to happen. And then it doesn't happen, then I'm disappointed. And sometimes then I'll go to God, which ultimately you should be like, God, what are you saying? And then everybody else comes and confirms that, and that's
Right.
great.
Right.
But it's very important to understand that. But yes, I've been up and down, but following this journey with God has been key to me, and it's very unorthodox.
Hmm.
Like our ways are like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna sell a bunch of records. I'm gonna be a millionaire. And I'm gonna do what I love and be great.
Hmm.
The God's plan could be, well, you're going to meet this person, they're going to disappoint you, you're going to do this, it's going to fail, you're going to do this. And it's like, wait, how is this God's plan?
Right. Right.
But it's not until the fruition of what you've been working on happens, you realize, okay, that's why that failed. That's
Right.
why that happens. And
Right.
his plans always is the best. So I am still in that process. I am still in that process. But even in those times, I am enjoying the ride of the roller coaster,
Hmm.
basically.
Yeah, the Bible says promotion comes not from the east or from the west, but it comes from the Lord.
Indeed.
And you're right. A lot of times we can get our eyes on other people, opportunities. I've done the same thing, even with my script. I remember having a meeting years ago with a major producer, and it's like, man, if this guy just says yes, that's a wrap. And the first time, like, no. And the second time, like, kind of,
Yeah.
like, and it's like, man, one of the things I've learned is just to keep on keeping on, right? Just kind of like it's like chopping down a tree. You don't know which which time you hit the tree is going to fall, but it's going to fall if you're just following God and you're relying on Him to deliver what He promised. I think that's a very good point, because if we get our eyes caught on people, we could quit.
No, easily. And even because the same people, just like they did Jesus, the same people are like, man, you're great, you this.
Hmm.
And the next week can be like, you're horrible, we hate you, bully him, you're canceled.
Right.
So I can't get caught up in that, And I don't know. I just think just God has a way of just kind of making sure you know that you're on the right path,
Right.
And the biggest thing is just not giving up. Like
Right.
I like that little meme where there's some guy mining some diamonds,
Hmm.
and you see like the top and the bottom. The top is the person who's still mining, has a ways to go. At the bottom, somebody's mining and they've been doing it for a while, and right over that little hump are the diamonds, but they gave up and turned around. And I
Hmm.
love that analogy, because sometimes we never know, like the very moment that we give up could have been the attack of the enemy to make us give up, because
Right.
he knew, or he could see, if we kept going, we were going to reach success. I
Yeah.
refuse to give up on
Right.
what God has promised me. Don't allow Satan or people around you. It's like, I don't know, maybe you should go get your degree, or maybe you should have done this, or maybe I don't know. That's why it's key understanding what God is saying. Like, having a relationship with God and being able to hear from Him is very important,
Hmm.
because you can get a word from God. Now, don't get me wrong. Satan's going to try to steal that word from you. He's going to try to rip it out of your hands.
Hmm.
But if you truly understand and faithful to that word, you can stand on that no matter what happens around you. And as
Right.
long as you stay the course, you're going to see God's favor. And that's what's happened with my life.
Well, the one of the Bible stories about Jesus that really kind of speaks to me along those lines is when there was a little, I don't know if he's a little boy, it was a man's son was possessed with a demon spirit, and that's the guy who said, I believe, help my unbelief, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the Bible, Jesus cast a demon out of him, right? So you would think at that point that'd be a wrap, but instead the demon throws the kid down. The Bible says tears him. So this is this huge, fit. And then after that, the kid is sitting there and he seems like he's dead. And finally, he gets up and he's fine. And it seems like Satan has a death rattle. It's like that right
Mm-hmm.
before, you're about to have your breakthrough, everything falls apart. It's just like the worst possible thing. And you're like, wait a minute, I used my faith. I've been serving God. I did this,
Absolutely,
treated
man.
people right. I forgave people. And now everything is exploding. But it's just this death rattle, right? It's just this last attempt to get you to back off of what God said, to get you out of faith. And if you'll just push through that, watch out, right? You'll find
It
this
it's
dying.
happened to me so many times. I can remember in 2013, I separated from my wife. It was a devastating time for me. And so one of the worst things were happening to me, and at the same time something extremely great. And I always notice Satan when things are bad happening.
Mm-hmm.
I could see when it's him trying to discourage me from life.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually find the light at the end of that tunnel. I see something great happening. I remember 2013 is when I got cast for the production for Tyler Perry. But
Mm-hmm.
that was the same year that I got separated, and I was like going through a minor depression. Yet
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, these great things were happening. And so it's crazy because at the time, the only one person I wanted to share the news with didn't want to talk to
Right.
me.
Right.
So it's in those moments I see, okay, don't get discouraged. Crazy things are happening, but God is still real and he'll show himself strong.
Right.
Same thing happened 2015 is when I actually got a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the year I won Sunday Best. I'm on the stage, hooray, wearing a ring,
Mm-hmm.
although I'm realizing no one else knows that I am divorced. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of things are happening even now that are changing for the negative, seemingly. But now my expectation is, okay, God, what's happening now? What are you doing now? Because I
Right.
see Satan is trying to be like, I don't know. It's like he's not really creative. He sucks. Like he does the same thing over and over again. So I figured him out. So okay, here you are again. I see him attacking again, but also know that God is doing something great, and I'm
Right.
not going to allow this distraction to distract me from the favor that's on my life.
That's right. That's right. When the enemy comes in like a flood, God raises a standard against everything.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And he takes what Satan means for evil and turns it to our good every time. And so really the only thing he needs for us to do is to not quit. Right. I was
Absolutely. Because
reap
he's going to do his thing.
if we faint not, right? So just keep going
Right.
and keep growing. Obviously we have to keep growing and learning and things like that. But man, if you just hang in there, you keep walking with God, your destiny is sure. You're going to look back. Like I talked about when we started up before Instagram decided to crash on me. Is that you're gonna look up and say, hey man, I'm sitting here where God told me to be. This is it. This is what he
Right.
promised. This is what I've been waiting for. And you'll feel like it's worth it. And it's going to be, you know.
Absolutely. And I've also found I have this natural ability to find the good in everything. Sometimes it feels like a curse.
Mm. It's a
Because
good.
I mean, and I'm an unconditional lover too. So when you
Mm-hmm.
love unconditionally, people can treat you like crap and
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and you're like, you know what? Maybe they're having a bad day. That's me. So like I said, sometimes it doesn't feel great. But even in bad situations, I always seem to find the good. Even in this COVID situation, like it's been crazy out here, but
Right.
I've been finding the beauty in all of it. Like for instance, like my dad lives in Kansas City, Missouri, and so with the distance, it's just hard. And technology helps, but I just haven't really talked to him a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
The past 4 weeks, I've talked to my dad more than I have the entire last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I attribute it to the situation we're in. Just rebuilding relationships, like me just sitting in the house having nothing to do, like, I wonder what XYZ is doing. I call him, hey, I haven't talked to him in years, and,
Mm-hmm.
and, and rekindling those relationships. God's really doing something great in this time. It's just like a beautiful thing, even with my kids. Like things I've been wanting to do with them. I've been wanting for years to get them piano lessons, and the teachers weren't working out, and so we got all this time. I just said, sit down. I'm gonna teach you what I know,
Right.
and they've been learning. So, and it's been challenging even me. I was like, hey, like I need to get better on this piano. So I would challenge myself. So I just see the beauty in all of this, and I think a lot of people can focus on the negative that happens in our life, that's happening around us. But if you can just look, just be patient and watch, and you can see the beauty of what God is doing. So I'm telling you, God will take a bad situation to make it great. I was talking to our team in our church. We were discussing, future plans of our church. And I was thinking, I said, one cool thing about this COVID situation is we have a moment in the like this has never happened.
Right.
I mean, not in our lifetime.
Right.
It hasn't happened. And so this is really changing the trajectory of what church will look like in the future.
Right.
And we're at the forefront of it.
Mm.
We can write it down. We
Mm.
can make it plain for the world. Like, we can go down in history. Church started to look like this because
Right.
FX started to do this,
Right.
and it caught on because people. And I was sharing with our church. I was like, this is a great opportunity for us because in
Mm.
our church, you know, we've had all these things. Think about tradition. We've been trying to get rid of for years. Stuff we
Right.
just kept because people are going to talk crazy about it. Now we can just blame it on, we can get rid of this stuff and blame it on COVID. So you know what? Sorry, seniors, we got rid of that early service
Right.
because COVID-19.
Right.
And we can, but I'm telling you, and we can find the beauty of this situation. We can focus on the negative, or we can just say, you know what, this could be great. Like, this is a turning point for churches all over the world.
Right.
And we could take this and run with it, or we can be like, oh, let's see what's going to happen. I say we take it and we run with it. We say, you know what does church look like for us?
Right.
Now we literally have like a clean slate. What does this look like? What is in our hearts? Not what we've seen for 100 years or what the Protestant church has done for you. What have we seen? I was reading an article about the pandemic, the flu pandemic that happened in 1918.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking at some stuff. I was wondering what was different in the church. And I only found one little small thing. And one thing was communion.
Mm.
In 1918, before the pandemic, communion, they would use one cup.
Mm.
But because of the pandemic and how
Right.
dangerous it was to spread, then they start using individual cups.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, like certain, groups still do that, which is still crazy.
Yeah.
But in that we saw a shift in how church is done differently. And, we got these little cups. I never drank out of the same cup as anybody else, but that used to be the norm.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different now. Now I'm wondering what will be different. I'm looking at how we do church.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering 10, 20, 100 years from now, what would church look like? And it's all going to be because of us. It's all going to be on the decisions that we make today. That's, once again, God making great situations out of what seemingly bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. And it's honestly, I got a big stack of paper over here because I've been working on our strategy going forward because this is one of those watershed moments. And we do have a clean slate as churches and we have a clean slate as people, right? This is a opportunity to reset. I think we're going to look back at this time individually, collectively, our ministries, our dreams. We're going to say that was key right there. That yesterday we were talking to Aaron Hankins and he said something I really liked. He said, this is going to backfire on the devil.
Big time.
Already doing so. I really do. I mean, you get more people getting saved, people's lives changing. Just during this time, I read a couple of articles now that more than half the churches in America have seen growth during this time. I know that FX is reaching more people than ever. I believe Faith is doing the same thing now. People, because people, when things get rough, they turn to God. They may not believe in God 2 weeks before that, but when things get rough, they right. And so I agree with you. This is an exciting time. At the same time, we're ministering to people and helping people through it. We're excited because we can see there's something coming out of this. And even for the film, we've had some opportunities present themselves that I don't think would have happened. That I can't share, but that even one person that we're talking to, I don't think I could have gotten to them if they weren't sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and so it's like, okay, God is doing something. So it is time to kind of roll with it, not give up, not give in, not get tired, but just say, okay, I've been on a journey. It's been a fight, but this thing ain't over. It's going to end good. God is a God of happy endings, and so I think it's gonna be pretty great.
Absolutely, it's an ultimate setup. I love it, actually.
Yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit today, man. I really appreciate it, and
No,
excited
absolutely.
about what God's going to do, and hopefully we're going to be on a movie set sometime later this year.
I know. I gotta share something with you though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I may have shared this in passing, but I do remember that time I was auditioning for the Tyler Perry production. And you had come to our church not too long ago, shortly before that, and you preached a message about faith. And it was like activating your faith. And in the message you kept talking about how acting like you received something before you actually receive it. And so one thing I like about guests at our church, or at any church, I would say, is that it kind of breaks up the monotony. And especially when you work in the church, and I hope my pastor isn't on here, but sometimes when you're
Yes.
working at a church and you're there, you hear the message, you hear your pastor over and over again. It gets
Hmm.
monotonous sometimes, and sometimes you got to shake yourself, wake up, pay attention. But it's always great when we have a guest, and it's always get something really great out of guests. And you particularly, but this one time in 2013, I had your message. I had a CD in my CD player, and you kept talking about exercising your faith and actually acting like you have something when you don't actually have. I said, you know what? He's right. I'm gonna do it. So I went home that day, and it was I don't know who was there, but I was there. I went home, and I went to my room, and I had auditioned for this play,
Hmm.
and so I said, well, I'm going to act like I would act if I got that phone call. This is totally based on your message. And I said, so I got in my room, and I closed my door, and I started jumping around, and
Hmm.
screaming, shouting to the top of my lungs. I was jumping in my bed, so much so I got super tired and I fell asleep. I woke up to a phone call,
Wow.
and the phone call, I said, hello? And it was like, guess what? I was like, what? They said, I got the part. It was my friend who got the part.
Wow.
So now I took that. I was like, okay, don't get discouraged. No, it is not over. So I have to celebrate them. Congratulations.
Hmm.
Great job. Okay, and that was it. I went back in again, started shouting. Nope, my time is coming. Fell asleep again. The next call I got was from Top Air Studios.
Wow.
Dang, I got the part. So I wanted to give you that because that really blessed me.
That is great,
That
man.
message you gave, I went in that day. I was like, if you would have seen me, you was like, that Negro has lost his mind. I did. I did lose my mind, and I took on the mind of Christ, and I began to believe stuff that I did not see, and I literally prayed and went to sleep my way into that
Uh-huh.
situation. And I thank you for that word you gave.
Well, thank God, man. Thank God for that. That's amazing. That's how faith works. You
See,
gotta have those crazy faith moments, right? Man, that's
that's me,
encouraging.
man. I'm a radical. I try not to be a spook radical, but when I go there, I go there because I love God and I believe in His Word. And so sometimes it takes that. Sometimes it takes somebody not being. And don't get me wrong, because we try to be the cool Christians,
Hmm.
and being the cool Christian is great because you're going to attract certain people. But sometimes, and I say this a lot of praise and worship. There are times where I play it cool, but there's sometimes God is so good, I will get out my car and I would just start shouting outside my car, and I don't care at that moment. Then
Hmm.
I look outside, maybe that was crazy, but in those moments, man, and God honors that, man. God will
Yeah.
honor
Yep.
your bio. I will be even more vile than this, praising for Him.
Yep.
And sometimes we play it cool. I try to be cool, but sometimes I throw cool out the door, and that's what happened that day. Good thing nobody was around me, but that day I threw cool out the door, and I just went in. I was jumping like a madman, and I saw the benefit of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they may not have been around you to see your praise, but they saw the results. So
That's all the result.
yeah.
And now I tell that testimony, and I'm like, oh, so now I don't know what they doing behind closed doors. But
Uh-huh.
people trying it out too now.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and thanks everybody for connecting with us. And it's like you guys really been enjoying this, and we're gonna keep it on live all day. I usually take this, put it on Facebook, on YouTube after I have to screen record because for whatever reason Instagram won't let me save it, but that's all right. But so you guys can definitely catch up, check it again, or share it because I'm sure this helped me. I'm sure it'll help somebody that you guys care about. And I'll be back on here tomorrow at 12 just to talk. So you guys got any questions or anything you want to talk about, just DM me, message me, and we can definitely do that. Thanks again, Dathan, man. I'm excited. Excited
Thanks
about
again,
you guys.
Pastor Andre. Appreciate your ministry,
Catch
bro.
up with you soon.
All right.